practice like this, where we will be facing down or embracing reality, embracing this direct experience. And this direct experience here in this moment has never happened before. This moment is completely fresh. This moment is completely new. This moment, the unknown is manifest. How could we know something that we have never experienced before? This is not only in terms of, kind of what's going on outside, but actually the body that you have right now. This is the first time that you have ever had a body like this. This is the first time that you have ever seen like this. This is the first time you have ever heard like this. And saying it this way is trying to get a hold of a cloud. And yet, moment by moment, it is being said, it is being expressed clearly and vividly, consistently. So we'll start our Sangha gathering today with some guided meditation. I invite everyone to find a position to put down this heavy body. You know, all of us would like to fly, but the body is so heavy, so dense, that sometimes even carrying it around or moving it around can be quite difficult. Recognizing that, I invite everyone to find a comfortable, stable position to sit in, to be in at this moment. And maybe that is laying down, maybe that is sitting in a computer chair, maybe it's standing up. We may try to sit cross-legged, to find a comfortable, stable, cross-legged position. And as we start to experience this body that we are willing to put down, we're willing to not kind of just be moving it around and carrying it around, but really just like a big sack of potatoes that we are taking from the forest to our home so that we can have nourishment. Putting it down is such a relief. And actually, along that journey, wherever that journey may be, you can arrive home in putting down that sack of potatoes. The destination is found right there in that moment of relief, of rest. And our meditation practice should also be like that. So finding that stable ground in which to put down this big, heavy rucksack full of potatoes. Also put down the complicated mind. Put down the ego. Put down the story. Put down the doing things. Put down the entire journey. And just allow being here to happen. Allow breathing here to happen. Much like this bag of potatoes, if we cannot find a stable position to put it in, then we'll have to hold it in some way. It may be less difficult or less burdensome than when we had that sack of potatoes on our back, but there's still this extra energy that we have to give, this tiring work that we have to do to keep it from rolling down the hill. So we find a position in which the body can be still. Where the only movement is the movement of the breathing, the movement of the hearing, the movement of the seeing. This sense of non-striving is unusual, and it is new for most of us. It is new for our society and our culture. Many people experience non-striving and then go do something else. Don't do anything. Experience not doing anything. And when that doing something, being someone, when the mind is something, when the body becomes something, breathing and settling the case, breathing and resolving everything, not even breathing, just everything, immediately. The breathing as a meditation method, or focusing on the breathing as our way of practice, it is just a matter of putting down the big bag of potatoes, this big heavy rucksack that we are carrying with us. And if we are going on this journey from the mountain to our home to bring this nourishment, these potatoes, mountain potatoes, home, it's very likely for most everyone that we will need to put down that bag. And our way of breathing, or focusing on the breath, or finding our kind of comfortable position to sit in, letting the body become still, it is simply the way of putting the bag down rather than just collapsing. Because if we just collapse, that bag and its potatoes may fall on top of us, or our precious potatoes may fall out of the bag and start rolling down the hill. So it's not by force that we practice meditation, but rather it is a moment by moment consideration of just being. And we experience in meditation very quickly. It doesn't take a meditation retreat or a long time, but we experience very quickly this capacity to just be. Physical sensations, physical experiences in the body. Good, bad, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, we feel bored. You can just be. The same with these mental formations, these stories that sometimes dominate our lives. We can just be. We don't need to strive, to fix, to solve, to understand, to control anything. It is unnecessary. And we experience that from this comfortable putting the body down, perhaps closing our eyes, breathing and aware. And as everything comes up, as anything comes up, freedom is there to meet it. And so when we encounter possible difficulties, either physical difficulties or mental difficulties in meditation practice, it is not that we kind of rough ourselves through it, but rather we are open to changing the posture of our mind, changing the posture of our body, and then returning to just being. That we are not here to do something. We're not getting paid to be here. There's no mission. There's no end result to strive for. But that we are fundamentally here for the work, for the way of just being. And that just being can be accessed or remembered through just hearing, through just seeing, through just breathing, through just standing, just laying down, just sitting. As much as we can, when we are just being, we may notice naturally the wholeness of it, the completeness of it, much in the way that the flame of a candle is complete in itself. It is not referencing another space or another time. It is not dwelling or relying on a goal or a mission or a path or someone. It is just burning. It is just. And that in each moment of our sitting or laying or breathing, that just is not an exercise. It is not secondary or tertiary. It is not after or before anything at all. It is just. In the way that the ocean, so far from any piece of land, is just. So also this moment and everything is just. so that when those mental, physical sensations or experiences come up that tend to tangle us or bind us, allow that just to reveal itself. Allow that just to brighten. So that we are not looking at something, but rather the looking itself. We are not someone breathing or even focusing on breathing, just breathing itself. We are not chewing something, just chewing itself. Okay, at this time we can make sure that our body is comfortable. If there are any places in the body that are in pain or tight, we can massage them, give our extra attention to them. We should not draw too much separation between our humanness, our ordinariness, using the toilet, watching YouTube, using TikTok, going for a walk, being sick, helping or not helping. We should not draw too much separation between speaking, listening, and what we call meditation. This realm or this way, this experience of just being is effervescently always present. In seeing, just seeing. In hearing, just hearing. In sensations of the body, just sensations of the body. in a particular thought or idea or notion. It's just that. It doesn't mean anything. It just is what it is. All your thoughts, ideas, and notions, sensations, habits, activities up to now have turned out to be completely impermanent. So this way, just being, just breathing, just seeing, it is always applying. It is always expressing. So we'll now go into a story of some old Zen masters, Zen Master Linji and Zen Master Huangbo. This story is entitled, Can't Be Snatched Away. One day, Chan Master Linji followed his teacher, Chan Master Huangbo, down to the fields to work. Chan Master Linji walked behind Chan Master Huangbo. Chan Master Huangbo looked back and discovered Chan Master Linji's hands were empty, and then said to him, "How come you forgot to bring your hoe?" Chan Master Linji replied, "I don't know who took it." Chan Master Huangbo stopped walking and said, "Come over here. I have something to discuss with you." So this is not so abnormal so far, right? We could see this as uh, a supervisor for a construction company, right? A general laborer, something along these lines, right? But here, these are two Chan masters. So Chan Master Linji and Chan Master Huangbo, well, Chan Master Linji is following his teacher, Chan Master Huangbo, down to the fields to work. And as Chan Master Linji is following his teacher, Master Huangbo looks back and discovers that Linji, his student, hands were empty, and then said to him, "How come you forgot to bring your hoe?" Chan Master Linji replied, "I don't know who took it." Master Huangbo stopped walking and said, "Come over here. I have something to discuss with you." Master Linji came forward. Master Huangbo then stood his hoe upright, saying, "Only this. There is no one in the world who can move it." As soon as he heard those words, Chan Master Linji rudely and immediately snatched the hoe from Chan Master Huangbo's hand. Firmly grasping it in his hand, he said, "Just a moment ago, teacher, you said no one could move this. Now why is this in my hand?" Chan Master Huangbo said, "What is in the hand is not really in the hand. And what is not in the hand is not really not in the hand. Tell me, who will cultivate the fields for us today?" Chan Master Linji replied, "Those who cultivate the field, let them cultivate. Those who harvest the field, let them harvest. What does this have to do with us?" After Chan Master Linji said this, Master Huangbo did not say a single word. He turned around and went back to the monastery. Not long after, Chan Master Gui Shan asked Chan Master Yang Shan about this matter, saying, "The hoe was in Chan Master Huangbo's hand. Why was it snatched away by Linji?" Chan Master Yang Shan answered, "Although the one who seized by force was a petty person, his wisdom was superior to that of a gentleman." Chan Master Gui Shan again asked Yang Shan, saying, "With regard to cultivating and harvesting, why would Linji say this had nothing to do with himself?" Chan Master Yang Shan did not answer, but on the contrary asked, "Is it not possible to transcend duality?" Chan Master Gui Shan, without saying a word, turned around and also went back to the monastery. Commentary. The turning around of Chan Master Huangbo, the turning around of Chan Master Gui Shan, the world of turning around is the world that affirms everything. People of reason have a lot to say. Those without reason have even more to say. If you are able to turn around in front of truth, is that not another kind of world? So these beings, or these Chan masters, or these monks that are able and willing to detach, they are precious helpers for all beings. Sometimes people say to me or ask about, monks are lazy bums and they don't do anything. They don't farm, they don't mine coal, they don't have a way to make money. So what are they doing? How could this help the world? And of course, the most reasonable answer is easy to talk about for those who are not lost in themselves. And that is that virtuous people are very important. Kind people are very important. Generous people are very important. Gentle people are very important. People who can forgive are very important. But the Chan answer, we can say, is more concerned with no, or is more concerned with detachment. Is Chan Master Linji that different from an earthquake? What will we do when everything changes immediately? And how will we know what to do if no one can do like that? If no one has shown us the way like that? You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to be this kind of person. You're supposed to be this kind of meditator. You're supposed to be this kind of worker. Well, what happens when there is no supposed to? What happens when past and future are washed away like dirt on the body? Can we not be free? Is it not possible to be free? Is it not possible to change? Is it not possible to listen to a child? In this case, Chan Master Linji is following his teacher, Master Huangbo, down to work. So from this first line, it's not Master Linji's idea to go down there, but he's following his master down to work. Maybe Huangbo said, hey, let's go down here, let's till the field. And this is quite a possible thing in a monastery. So Linji says, okay, and Master Huangbo grabs his hoe, his tool, and is walking in front, and Linji's behind him. So then, maybe let's say they're about halfway down to the field, and Master Huangbo looks back and sees that Linji's hands were empty. So how are you going to work the field? You know, it's like digging a hole without a shovel. It's not going to happen. So Huangbo said, how come you forgot to bring your tool? What's going on? And Master Linji replied, I don't know who took it. So there's something here, right? Because Master Linji could have said, I forgot it. I didn't know that I was supposed to bring a tool. Master Linji could say a lot of different things here, right? But he said, I don't know who took it. What could this mean? Because these masters, they didn't speak loosely like we do, you know, just saying things. Everything they say is precision. Everything they say has a very precise meaning to it, very particular. So what could Zen Master Linji have meant when he said, I don't know who took it? Well, who said that Linji had a hoe ever? Who said that he was supposed to bring one with him? Huangbo. How come you forgot to bring your hoe? So instead of Linji rejecting that or affirming it, Linji said, I don't know who took it, or I don't know where it went. You brought it up, and now I don't know where it is. And a lot of times in life, we can't answer like Linji, right? Someone comes along with us with a leading question. You know, they say, hey, Bhante, you're a real, It could be good or bad, but you're really wonderful and great. Tell me why that is. Or the opposite, right? You're such a mess. Why are you like that? And we don't know how to answer. And actually, if we refute it, we're trapped because we've taken their gift. Now we're in an argument. And if we affirm it, well, we're just being led around by who knows who. So how can we say, I don't know who took it? How come you forgot to bring your tool? I don't know who took it. Anyone else have idea about this? What does it mean? I don't know who took it. Go ahead, Evra. What do you think? You can speak.
It sounds like the choice of words was to initially display like a knee-jerk reaction of lack of understanding, not knowing. The very next thing the person shared was that it must be that somebody else must have taken it, and rather than assuming like, well, maybe I could have made a better choice, maybe I had done something where I could have remembered to bring the tool, the conclusion was it must be stolen. It must be somebody else's responsibility to have left it where I could have found it or have given me the tool.
Where was the tool before Huangbo looked back and saw Linji?
I don't know that I heard that part. Maybe I missed it, or perhaps that's the point that it wasn't even listed in the story.
Where are our expectations before we have them? Where were you before your parents were born? Where were you before your parents were born?
Nowhere.
So where did you come
I
from?
think that your question reminds me about a thought I initially had was the response started with I, the implication of an identity or someone thinking, someone coming to a conclusion.
Some people say everywhere. Some people say nowhere. Linji said, I don't know who took it. Who gave the tool to Linji? Who put this sense? Who brought up the tool? Who created the tool? Who created the expectation that Linji would have a tool? At least from our short look at this text. Where did that come from? Where did the idea that Linji had a tool come from? Chan Master Huangbo looked back and discovered Chan Master Linji's hands were empty. So our hands are often empty, and no one's asking us where our tools are. No one's asking us what's going on, right? So Chan Master Huangbo saw that Linji's hands were empty and then said to him, "How come you forgot to bring your hoe?" This is the first line of the dialogue. This is the first line of the text. These are the first words spoken in this case, in this engagement. So where were you before your parents were born? Were your parents born? Were you born? So in a sense, we can say that this expectation, as far as we know, and as far as the case of Huangbo expressing himself, because Linji isn't just talking to the sky, he's talking to Huangbo. He's responding to his teacher. How come you forgot to bring your hoe? This is the first point. Master Linji says, I don't know who took it. Much in the same way that you don't know where you came from before you were born. So if someone comes along and says, hey, why were you in the hungry ghost realm before you were born? What are you going to say to them?
You don't know.
Don't know. Linji says, don't know. The I comes from Huangbo. And who took it is who gave it. Huangbo gave I, and Huangbo gave who took it. It's not vaguity. Not knowing is not vaguity. It's not dullness. Okay? It's not a state of laxity. It's a state of titanium fire. Okay? And these texts are also like this. So how come you forgot to bring your hoe? How come you're so depressed? Chan Master Linji replied, I don't know who took it. I don't know who's making this up. Don't know, only don't know. How about you respond that way the next time someone says, hey, why are you such a miserable person? Or hey, why are you, did they just make something up? Like Huangbo just made up that Linji's supposed to have a hoe in his hand. Who says that? Bhante, why aren't you cooking something or I don't know, standing on a pole? Who says I have to stand on a pole? Only don't know is not being vague and not being dull, not being foggy. It is crystalline rainbow fire. Only don't know. And it's not, these monks aren't, some employees at McDonald's trying to get out of, their shift on the Tuesday because their friends are having a party. So they say, oh, no, only don't know. You call them to get off, only don't know. No, only don't know. Only don't know. No. Finish. End. Resolve. Only don't know is a little bit more, I think, has a little bit more sense of compassion than that no. Only don't know. And how realistic that is if you're exploring Thai language or Myanmar language because you don't know. So that state of only don't know is the state of intimacy and openness to having a direct experience, to looking deeply and precisely into everything, and specifically this case. So anyway, we're lucky that they continue their interaction. Let's see how it goes. Chan Master Huangbo looked back and discovered Chan Master Linji's hands were empty, and then said to him, "How come you forgot to bring your hoe?" Chan Master Linji replied, "I don't know who took it. Don't know where it went. Don't know what you're talking about." Chan Master Huangbo stopped walking and said, "Come over here. I have something to discuss with you." Linji came forward. Master Huangbo then stood his hoe upright, saying, "Only this. There is no one in the world who can move it." So what is this? You can't wait. You can't think about it. If you're sitting there thinking about it, you don't know what it is. That's why it's such a powerful meditation method to ask this question. What is this? There's not a script. There's not a costume designer. There's not a director. There's not a producer. There's not actors. It's not a movie. It's not a TV show. This isn't episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Just this. Like the heat of a fire. You know it when you feel it. And it's a direct experience. And it can burn you if you're not careful. And cold can freeze you if you're not careful. But the Master Linji is a little bit farther along than us in terms of what is this. But this thisness, we can say, is our original nature, is our true nature, is our suchness, is the ultimate, is the experiencing. Fire is hot, water is wet. Seeing is seeing, hearing is hearing. Or so it seems. What is hearing? What is seeing? Have we investigated it? Have we looked into it? Have we examined it? Or have we been tricked by a culture of entertainment and professional deceivers? Puppet shows and melancholy dramas, etc. It's fine enough if you can break through. If you can say no to everything, then nothing can bring you along unnecessarily. So Master Huangbo saw that his disciples' hands were empty. They didn't have a tool to do the work. And he says, "How come you forgot to bring your tool?" Master Linji says, "I don't know who took it. I don't know what you're talking about, boss." Master Huangbo stopped walking and said, "Uh-oh," right? Our boss stops walking, turns around, says, "Come over here. I have something to discuss with you. I've got something to tell you," right? Huangbo then stood his tool upright, saying, "Only this. There is no one in the world who can move it." So there's no trap here about expectations, about, oh, well, they were supposed to work, or, oh, he was supposed to have a tool, these kinds of things. No. Master Huangbo is the leader, the teacher, the master, leading him down to this field. Master Huangbo has his hoe, his tool. Linji doesn't. He looks back, he says, "What's going on, Linji? We're supposed to be down here working." And Linji said, I don't know what happened. I don't know who took it. So Master says, "Come over here. I have something to discuss with you." What's he going to do? Is he going to tell him to go back up to the shed? Is he going to, to get the tool? Is he going to berate him about his work ethic and that he's not taking this job seriously enough? Because that's being electrocuted. That's what would be normal to do, right? That's what's normally done. Hey, you want to get paid? You better get into shape. These are not normal people. These are Chan masters. These are Zen masters. These are titanium, fire, rainbow spiraling, crystal wielders, whatever. They're not your everyday, ordinary person in that sense. So Master Huangbo then stood his tool upright, saying, "Only this. There is no one in the world who can move it. There is no one in the world who can move only this, just this. Is there anyone in the world who can move the heat of fire as your hand is over it? The heat of fire, is there someone in the world who can move it?" As soon as he heard those words, Master Linji rudely and immediately snatched the tool from Chan Master Huangbo's hand. Firmly grasping it in his hand, he said, "Just a moment ago, teacher, you said no one could move this. Now, why is this in my hand?" So everybody can say this. It doesn't matter what your skill level is, right? Just this or direct experiencing is accessible. If you put your hand on fire, it doesn't matter if you're a Zen master or a monk or whatever, it's heat. So firmly grasping it in his hand, he said, "Just a moment ago, teacher, you said no one could move this. Now why is this in my hand?" Chan Master Huangbo said, "What is in..." So this is a teaching. This is guidance for you, for all of us. What is in the hand is not really in the hand. And what is not in the hand is not really not in the hand. Things aren't as they seem to be. It's just seeming to be. It's just a objectification of everything. And how can you separate something from everything? Well, you cannot. You cannot separate something from everything. Master Huangbo said, so this was his response to Linji's challenge or Linji's expression, where the master said, "Just only this. There is no one in the world who can move it." Then Linji grabbed a hold of it and said, "Hey, you just said no one can move this, and yet here it is in my hand. Now why is this in my hand?" Master Huangbo said, "What is in the hand is not really in the hand. And what is not in the hand is not really not in the hand. Tell me, who will cultivate the fields for us today?" So that appearances are not the full truth, right? And then getting back into the practical. But the practical and the spiritual or the ultimate, they go together. But Huangbo said, do not rely on appearances. Appearances are not the truth. Just because something appears to be a certain way, that doesn't mean anything. Tell me, who will cultivate the fields for us today? Master Linji replied, "Those who cultivate the field, let them cultivate. Those who harvest the field, let them cultivate. What does this have to do with us?" What are you attached to? What are you striving for? What are you getting involved with? Just let it be. Why are you adding on all these labels, all these judgments, all these expectations, all these stories? Why did Huangbo say, "How come you forgot to bring your tool?" He's a Zen master. Shouldn't he see the ultimate in everything? Can the ultimate be in everything? All the time already? Only this. So Linji is following his teacher down to the field, and his teacher looks back and says, "Hey, you don't have your tool." Master Linji said, "I don't know who took it." Master Huangbo pulled him aside and said, he stood his hoe upright and said, "Only this. There is no one in the world who can move it." And as soon as he heard those words, Master Linji snatched the hoe from Chen Master Huangbo's hand, firmly grasping it in his hand, and said, "Just a moment ago, teacher, you said no one could move this. Now why is this in my hand?" Master Huangbo said, "What is in the hand is not really in the hand, and what is not in the hand is not really not in the hand. Don't be attached." Don't be attached. And then he asked his student, "Tell me, who will cultivate the fields for us today? Who will practice for us today? Who will do the right thing today?" Master Linji replied, "Those who cultivate the field, let them cultivate. Those who harvest the field, let them harvest. What does this have to do with us?" I see this as letting things be as they are and not self-identifying with anything, with what other people are doing or even what you're doing. Because that us, that original self, that original face is something that we can connect to so that we're not lost in all these fantasies about what we're supposed to do and what we're supposed to have in our hands and the expectations that we're supposed to meet. What does that have to do with us? Meaning, what does that have to do with our true nature? After Linji said this, Chan Master Huangbo did not say a single word. He turned around and went back to the monastery. So it seems he was satisfied with his student's answer. Not long after, Chan Master Guishan asked Chan Master Yangshan about this matter. So two later monks, two well-known monks, were inquiring into this case, this story that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years and has reached us here. And Guishan asked Yangshan about this matter, saying, the hoe was in Master Huangbo's hand. Why was it snatched away by Linji? Yangshan answered, although the one who seized by force was a petty person, his wisdom was superior to that of a gentleman. So that action was petty, right? A little bit like sourly bold, but that wisdom or that action, that expression, was superior to that of someone who would have been, taming themselves or refraining themselves because of etiquette. So sometimes that will also be true in our own lives, that even though we do something that's petty, even though we do something that has this quality of like, I'll show you, and it might be a bit coarse, that can be superior to the wisdom in that can be superior to that of someone who's, refraining themselves, trying to be polite, etc. And in our modern life of being politically correct and, working with everyone with, mittens on our hands or something like that. But of course, how do we actually treat and take care of children? So we've got these big babies running around that, everybody wants to be treated like, like they're made out of ceramics or something, 1 millimeter ceramics, but how are we actually taking care of the children in our society? So anyway, sometimes that strength, that push, that pettiness even, can have superior wisdom to that of someone who's trying to play by the rules or doing what is gentlemanly or gentlewomanly. The wisdom in that can be stronger. And in this case, it was. The wisdom there was superior. So Guishan again asked Yangshan, saying, with regard to cultivating and harvesting, which is not just about working the fields, but it's also about our own lives, right? Cause and effect. How we cultivate, how we do good deeds, how we practice mindfulness, how we plant certain seeds in our mind, either poisonous ones or positive ones, right? We cultivate them and then we harvest them, we experience them, we use them to do more cultivation, to enjoy, to help others. So Guishan again asked Yangshan, saying, with regard to cultivating and harvesting, why would Linji say this had nothing to do with himself? Master Yangshan did not answer, but on the contrary asked, is it not possible to transcend duality? Is it not possible to go beyond self and other? Is it not possible to go beyond telling stories? Is that not possible? Is that not normal? Is that not the natural state of babies and children as they come into this world, to transcend duality? It's good or it's bad, it's right or it's wrong, it's this way or it's that way. Is it not possible to transcend duality? Is it not possible to go beyond describing something, explaining something, understanding something? Is that not possible? To go beyond experiencing something in particular? Master Guishan, without saying a word, turned around and also went back to the monastery. So this is what Linji said to Master Huangbo. Is it not possible to transcend duality? Is it not possible to detach? Is it not possible to forgive, to begin again, to don't know? Is that not possible? And Guishan and Master Huangbo, upon hearing this, without saying a word, turned around and went back home, went back to their monastery. Short commentary. The turning around of Master Huangbo, the turning around of Master Guishan, the world of turning around, is the world that affirms everything. The world of turning around is the world that affirms everything. Not just you're supposed to do this, not just you're supposed to do that, not just it was this way, it was that way, da 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 da. Affirms everything, everything, everything. Use the word everything rather than thinking about things or trying to understand anything intellectually. Everything. Is it not possible to connect with everything, to experience everything? What else can you experience besides everything? So the turning around of Master Huangbo, the turning around of Master Guishan, the world of turning around. Maybe we say the world of beginning again. The world is the world that affirms everything. Now, people of reason have a lot to say. People who are reasonable, people who are logical, people who have some important reasoning in their mind about this or that, they've got a lot to say. Those without reason have even more to say, right? So those who are not even reasonable, they have even more to say. If you are able to turn around in front of truth, is that not another kind of world? If you are able to experience maybe quote-unquote truth, but truth, call it what you want to call it. If you are able to turn around in front of truth, is that not another kind of world? If you are able to begin again, is that not another kind of world? If you are able to experience seeing, hearing, breathing directly, just breathing, just seeing, just hearing, is that not, and to turn around in front of that, to turn, to continue, is that not another kind of world? Okay, dear beloved Sangha, we will leave it here for today. And let's finish with a dedication of the merits, okay? So welcome to bring your hands together with me. Welcome to unmute your microphones. May all the merits that we have done till now,
May all the
May
merits
all the merits that we have done till now,
through listening to the Dhamma,
through
through
listening to
listening to the Dhamma,
through being with the Sangha,
through
through
being
being with the Sangha,
through recognizing the Buddha mind,
for
through
recognizing
recognizing
the Buddha
the Buddha
mind,
mind,
be dedicated and shared out towards all beings.
be dedicated and shared out towards
toward
all
all
beings.
beings.
May all beings receive our merits.
May all
May all
beings
beings receive our merits.
May all beings rejoice in our merits.
may all
May
beings
all beings
rejoice.
rejoice in our
Merit.
merits.
May it be,
May it be,
may it be,
May it be.
may it be,
may it truly be.
May
may
it
it
truly
truly be.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
do.
Okay, the sadhu we can all do together. So thank you everyone so much for being here, beloved Sangha. I'm a little bit under the weather, so I take some rest, but we'll try to meet tomorrow at same time, and be well, and open to don't know, and open to, is it not possible to transcend suffering? Okay? Enjoy. Thank you.